All right, so it is day 47. Yesterday I talked about Subway and how I was going to incorporate that as part of my latchkey diet. Now, like I've said before, the latchkey diet is how we used to lose weight, because back then you didn't have, grass-fed butter. It wasn't a thing, grass-fed yogurt, whole earth yogurt, or whatever in the hell. All that expensive labeling they put on stuff to make you pay even more money for already expensive things. But we did not have those type of things available to us. So we had to come up with a way. We had to achieve weight loss through a way with the foods that were available to us. I cannot express that enough. Sometimes the foods available to us were stuff that we ate at home. And yes, during the early 80s, after the gas shortage crisis that Jimmy Carter and President Ford before him created, there was a big, inflation. The inflation was through the roof. Parents struggled. My parents both worked. That's why I was a latchkey kid. My father put in fire protection for big companies like, you name it. He's put in fire protection for places like Adidas, Bausch & Lomb, countless, I can't tell you how many shopping centers and grocery stores. When I say fire protection, I mean the industrial fire protection, the underground part. He digs the lines for the hydrants and or dug the lines he's retired now, for the hydrants and the valves, and he connected everything, read the blueprints, put everything together so that people could have safety once they opened these plants and stores, in case the event of a fire. Okay? So that type of work led him out of town a lot. And I was lucky enough to work on his crew for 3 summers when I was a teenager. I made good money, and I got to work out of town, and I got to experience, other places besides, my own hometown where I grew up. I grew up actually in 2 separate areas, but that's a story for another day. I was actually born in Greenville County in South Carolina, that city is ranked 32 in the entire nation. So that should tell you something about, a little bit about my lifestyle. Just because I'm a Southerner and doesn't mean that, all of us grew up in the country, riding canoes down the river and looking for Yankees to have fun with. Okay, some of us actually had city culture, despite our accent and what you may think. But yes, so like I say, the latchkey diet, it's my little word for the way we used to have to focus on losing weight. But most of that revolved around intermittent fasting, I will admit. It was a cutoff time. We learned that a cutoff time of eating, and we learned it through generations beyond us. And that's why it's important that we have conversations anyway. But anyway, I'm pulling into this local Subway, which is a different Subway. and I am going to go in here and get a sub, and I'll explain to you what's going on when I get back. I can't take you in there because I got music playing, and I'm not sure if I'm able to allow the video people making my sandwich without their permission. Alright, so I went in Subway and I got me another foot-long sub. Now, today is going to be a little bit different. I said yesterday that I was going to use Subway to control my weight loss. So, it is really technically a little earlier than I am used to eating. It is 9:46. I mean, usually somewhere I eat around 10. Been known to eat around 10 or 10:30, and I've been consistently losing weight this whole time. Whew, she loaded it down. She loaded this thing down, boy. She is a good sandwich maker. My truck's sitting on a hill and an incline, and that is not working in my favor right now. So, all the beautifulness of her sandwich crafting is kind of going all over the place, and that is entirely my fault. Not hers. Well, nothing like everything going wrong when you're trying to make a video, right? Anyway, like I said, today's video is going to be different. Look at that. Black Forest ham sub. And this bread is softer today than it was at the other Subway restaurant I went to yesterday. Subway messy. But anyway, I got a little more on this one. I got same vegetables basically, but I added bell pepper to it. So I got lettuce, pickles, black onions, bell pepper, banana pepper, and jalapeno. I added jalapenos too. And I got the ham sub because it's lower in calorie. And as most of you know who watch me, know that I try to eat only twice a day. But today my wife is down a morning client. So she is at home right now in bed. She's at home right now in bed. And my daughter is as well, so. She will be going to spend time with me before her afternoon client. So that means going out somewhere to eat, and it also means I have less control over my situation. So this is the way I'm going to try to implement some control, eating now and having something on my stomach by the time we go out to eat. Maybe I can eat less then. Have my 2 meals in earlier today and get my intermittent fasting schedule started earlier today. And that should be very effective, because by the time nighttime rolls around, I should really be into the fasted state big time. The earlier you can cut off within your window, the quicker you're going to get into a fasted state later on. Provided you don't overdo it too much. Now, my youth, that BMT sub that I ate yesterday, I found out that BMT stands for bigger, meatier, tastier. That used to be part of their slogan. That used to be my favorite sub growing up, but man, this ham, man, no, it kind of gives it a run for its money. This ham sub is good. They piled the ham on here. I got that honey mustard instead of mayo today. It's also a little lower in calorie. I'm really liking the taste of that honey mustard. I may switch to that instead of mayo. I think I will. Ooh. A little bit of jalapenos had some bite to them. All right, let me get on the road and I will get back with you. Alright, so like I was saying earlier, I was born in the early 70s, 71, and we had to focus on diet. I learned this through my older siblings, and it paid off for me as I became a teenager and young adult, because I had siblings that were a good 5 and 6 years old. I say about 4.5 and 5 years older than me. Maybe a little longer. See, I was born in 71, but it was in December of 71. So technically, you know, 71 had already passed me by the time I was born. But like I say, they were older than me. They were born in 65 and 66, so they were born almost a year apart. So I learned a lot from them growing up, watching them diet and how they would minimize their food intake in order to lose weight. And it was very effective. It was very effective, and a lot of that didn't just go on in my household. That went on in a lot of households across, you know, at least my area it did, you know, where I grew up. I I guess I can't speak for everybody, huh? I can only speak from my experience, but that's how it was in my house, and that's how it was in a lot of other houses that we grew up around as well. This was learned from older generations. You know, you limit your food intake to lose weight. They didn't do it by counting calories, though. Like I said, that was not always available. That was not always a thing. It was for me my entire life, but it was introduced, you know, about the time, you know, I was a baby. So by the time I was able to read can labels and stuff, yeah, I was on that. Boxes of food in grocery stores, but restaurants, you know, commercialized restaurants like your McDonald's and Burger King, they still didn't list their calorie intakes. And there was times, you know, that if we wanted to lose weight, we had to eat what we were given. And sometimes what we were given varied depending on the situation. If my father was out of town and working, you know, my mother, she'd work first shift. Sometimes she was on second, and she had been known to be on third. Which, you know, meant I was left with my older siblings, my sisters, quite often. And them being young adults and teenagers, they wanted to do their own thing. You know, as I got older, I was able to stay in the house by myself from a very early age, from the age of 7. I was home alone a lot, so while they were out at skating rings and arcades or whatever, chasing boys, whatever, I was, you know, down the street playing with friends, unsupervised, going home on my own, also unsupervised, you know. That's just the way life was. I do not regret that lifestyle, though. I will say I feel lucky to have been able to grow up that way. Now, I think because of that, there's no way in hell I'd have let my kids do the same things that I got away with. I mean, I used to come home from school and my daddy and me both had a go-kart. He'd bought us both go-karts. That was, when he was home, that was one of the things that we done together. That was fun, you know. Just because they weren't always there doesn't mean they weren't there all the time, you know. They were there when they were able to be there. It's not like we were abandoned. God, people try to be so sensitive, but I'm so lonely. No, man, I love that crap, man. I love being unsupervised and doing my thing and having my way. Now, I did not get the best education because of it. That's another story too. The teachers I grew up with were something else, buddy. I'll tell you what, the school situation here in South Carolina, you know, was one of the worst states, you know, of overall SAT scores to begin with, and a struggling student like myself, you were just going to fail in school. That's just all there was to it, and that was me. I was not a trouble-making kid. I was not a problem kid. I just struggled with the work ethic that they expected me to do on my own. And it's just the way it was. But I learned how to work in later years, and I learned how to take care of myself. And I became the person I was through my experiences and time that I spent alone. Making things work out for myself and living within my own head, because that's what we had to do. We had to live within our own heads, and I think that was a better life than the way our kids have it today. I really weep for our future. God, could you imagine if the internet shut down? I would thrive. I would live on. Sorry, I had to put you down. There was a cop. Highway patrol. do not want to film that experience for you. That would not be fun. But yeah, I'm going all over the place today, and I'm sorry. Just mumbling and rambling about everything today, aren't I? I mean, without any real direction. But yeah, my main topic today is around the diet, the latchkey diet, and why I'm doing the Subway thing, you know, as a form of control over my food intake in order to try to drive and push better weight loss results on the scale, because I do want to get down those 3 pounds. And with the wife being out, that's going to put me in a spot where, like I said, I have to go out to eat with her, and there's no telling where that's going to be. It's going to be maybe like a Mexican restaurant, could be a Chinese food buffet, it could be anything. But by having that half a sub, I'm already got something in my stomach. I'm feeling satisfied, and I think that is going to be helpful and for me to take in less food, and also to be done with my intermittent fasting schedule earlier today as far as my 2 meals are concerned. That way we can move forward with the rest of our day going straight toward the fasting process. So we'll have a long fasting process going in from whatever time I finish my meal. I will let you. Alright, so we have reached the end of our day once again. Now, just like I told you, I went out to eat with my wife at lunchtime. This was about 12:30, so we were done eating basically right a little after 1 o'clock. We'll say about 1:10, somewhere around in that area. Because we went to the Mexican restaurant. That's one of our favorite places to go. The food there is really good. We got this certain one that we go to, and I got the nachos that they're house nachos. Just about all Mexican restaurants that I go to have some sort of house nachos, but most of them lack in comparison to this particular one. It is loaded with some ground beef, some shredded chicken, jalapenos, guacamole, sour cream, pico de gallo, and of course the nachos. I mean, it is absolutely delicious, and it's relatively cheap. Oh, and it has jalapenos on it too, if you like them, but I always make sure they come on mine. Yeah, that's what I decided to get because of, you know, having some extra vegetables on there. Plus I had the half of the Black Forest ham sub from this morning at Subway, and surprisingly I was not able to finish the entire plate of nachos. You know, I still put a pretty good hurting on it, but the sub done its job this morning. But anyway, this is what the nachos look like. And you know, after we ate our lunch, rather, my wife wanted to get the Mexican dessert. It's called a sopapilla, which is basically it's nachos, but it's like a dessert flour tortilla that they fry up, and it's got cinnamon and brown sugar, and they drizzle honey on there, and some whipped cream. Nothing too special. It comes with, the plate comes with 4, you know, decently sized large fried tortilla chips. You know, they were cut into pieces, and you get 4 of them. So she got 2 and I got 2. All right, dig in. It's a dessert, so to speak, but it's not the kind that's going to wreck your day if you decide to have something a little sweet. And it was perfect. I mean, this was kind of I did buy her lunch the other day for Valentine's Day, but this was kind of our makeup Valentine's dinner where we actually got to go out somewhere and sit down together and not have to worry about the kids because they were both in their day program. So that's what we did for lunch, and I knew that was coming. I just didn't know when. Tomorrow, as long as no one cancels on her, she's supposed to have a full schedule. She does home health care. And I done some secret filming of her earlier because I'm proud of her. She doesn't like the camera as much as I do. So I'm going to show you what my wife looks like, but don't tell her I did. Should I put her in the thumbnail? I'm totally going to put her in the thumbnail. But anyway, this is my wife. So I'm like really proud of her because she's been doing the latchkey diet with me, and she is having results as well on the scale. You know, she fusses all the time, you know, because she's dropping weight every week, but she doesn't drop quite the amounts that I do. She might drop a pound or a half a pound at a time, you know, where I'm dropping 2, 3, and a pound and a half, you know, sporadically throughout the entire process. But she's doing really good, and she's dropped a considerable amount of weight in the past month since she started intermittent fasting with me, and I'm proud of her. So that's why I wanted to brag on her a bit. Kind of let you know that you know, I got a beautiful woman, a beautiful wife. We've been married a really long time. My son's 27, and we're going on our 28th year anniversary, I think. Yeah, because we got married in 94, and then and in 2 years we will be celebrating our 30th anniversary. So yeah, it's the 28th anniversary coming up in April. But yeah, I'm proud of her, and she's done a great job, and like I say, she's a beautiful woman, and I'm glad that she is having the same success that I'm having. And I can't tell you, man, I tell people all the time, I don't know how in the world she got so lucky. But yeah, man, she's good. She's good to me and good to the kids, and she's a good provider. You know, I got laid off from my job during the Obama years. Most of my jobs that I had, where I used to work in manufacturing, went overseas, and it was hard for people to find work, you know, there for a while. Unemployment was crazy high, and she had, you know, a degree in home health care anyway that she hasn't used in a long time, and I had put in so many years of retirement to where she just wanted to go into the workforce. And she did set me up with a client or two, so I'm also still in the workforce. I don't have as many clients as she has to take care of, but I have a couple in the afternoon that I tend to, and I make some money off of that, and it's a significant amount, and but not to the extent that she does. She brings home a considerable amount, you know, enough for us to get by on, not to make us rich or anything, but a good amount of money. And you know, we make it work. You know, with 2 autistic kids, we make it work. So life is good. Life is real good. The sub, like I said, it done its job today. Kept me from overeating so much, and I was finished eating at 1 o'clock. I mean, it is 4:22 now, going on 4:30. So I've been a few hours now without anything to eat. I don't feel it yet, but trust me, when the intermittent fasting kicks in around 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, before I go to bed, I will be in a fasting state while I sleep tonight. So, and because I only ate the 1 foot-long sub yesterday and made 2 meals out of it, and plus the ham this morning, once I ate those nachos with the jalapenos and stuff on them, I'm here to tell you, let's just say it worked the system pretty good. I shed a lot of water weight. We will put it that way. And when that happens, you know, usually I always notice a drop in the scale. So that's a good thing. My plan is working. And I got a half sub in the refrigerator. I'm 1 half sub to the good right now, so I will buy 1 tomorrow. I will eat the 1 I've got in the refrigerator, and then I will eat half of whatever sub that I get tomorrow. I'm not sure what kind I will get yet. But you know, I got the ham sub, so I may get a more high-calorie sub tomorrow, especially if subs are going to be my only meal again. Break up the monotony a little bit. Keep your body guessing about the foods that I'm putting in it. I may get something a little extreme like the meatball, or maybe the steak and cheese. I'm not sure yet. Might go with that steak and cheese, which it's not as high in calories as the meatball. It's a little bit lower. So I can eat half of that and put the other half of the